everyone, welcome back. My name is Anastasia and I'm a teacher at SH.E.B.A. Today I'm going to show you and tell you more about how we use arms and hands in belly dancing. So how to properly position them, as well as some exercises on how to get better. But first and foremost, if you haven't done so yet, please warm up before any dancing practice you are going to do. If you don't know how to do it or just too bored to do it by yourself, please check out our video at the SH.E.B.A YouTube channel and some other fun tutorials on how to warm up and how to do many other fun things in belly dancing. And let's get started. So, what do I mean by arms? Arm work, what is it? So let's review that we have three major moving parts in our arm complex, right? We have our shoulder, we have our elbow, we have our wrist. And then of course your fingers provide a more detailed and more softer movement. But right now let's talk about the end of all this amazing arm complex, right? About the positioning of the wrist and your fingers. But notice here we only talk about positioning, not the work, not how we're gonna use those parts, right? So when I position my hand, let me show it to you from this angle. When I position my hand and my fingers, I usually have my fingers extended. They're extended, they're not flexed like that. It's not a claw, right? They're extended, and always remember that even though we say they're extended like this, right? They're never stiff. They're never just, you know, and so it's really hard to move, right? We want to have them extended, but nevertheless soft. So we want to have our thumb either glued to the side of our palm of our hand, or we want to have it under that palm in the way that the thumb is trying to reach the middle finger. Yes. So usually when I do my hand placement in belly dancing, I keep my middle finger and my ring finger together. They're almost always glued together, you may say. And I have my index finger and my pinky finger kind of floating and really finishing the look. So usually my look will be something, my hand look will be something like this, right? But again, remember, it's never stiff. It's never just, you know, frozen one part. It's a dynamic part that it's extended, but at the same time, it's soft, it's breathable. You can move it, right? And give life to your arm movement. Now, let's really talk about the positioning of our arm in the dance. So remember, we want to have our shoulders back down. We want to have air under our armpits and your elbows. Remember, we don't want to have our arms fully straightened out like that with our fingers fully extended and God forbid having shoulders like this. No, shoulders down. Then you want to soften your elbows. By soften, I mean not bend them like this so that you look like chicken, but you have this little bend. Let me bend over like this. You have this little bend in your elbows that creates this soft look. Almost, you can say, feminine look to your arms, right? You see, I don't have my arms straight out like that. They're more softer. So also very important to remember, when you soften your elbows, when you bend them a little bit, slight degree of bend, maybe 10, 15 degrees, not more than that, you want to have your elbow, the bone here, right? Your funny bone here, you want to have it looking behind you if your arms are like that. So then remember, this can be a bend too, right? My elbows are bent, but you want to have them, you want to have your shoulders a little bit internally rotated and your elbows really looking behind you. And every time it's true, even when your arm is up, you want to have that as well. Some basic positions which are commonly used in belly dance, and you can use it with any move to frame your body, because our arms, what does it do? What purpose they serve? Not only it's a beautiful addition we have in our body, but and useful too. Very important that our arms create the frame for our main thing in the frame, which is us, you always want to frame your move. You want to show your hip. You want to make sure your audience sees, or you can even show them, direct their look where exactly and what you're gonna do, right? So your arms are beautiful frame, but at the same time, remember that your arms can be beautiful and really enhance your dance look and the way you present yourself. They can also be not so beautiful, and then overall look will suffer. And of course, no conversation about arms in belly dance will happen without talking about snake arms. Snake arms, it's also one of the basic moves in belly dance that we use all the time. If there is one thing people remember about the dance, besides the hips, the belly, and the beautiful costumes, it's the beauty of the arms, and they usually refer to snake arms. So how it is achieved? Once again, we can break it down into smaller moves, smaller little constituents of every move. So the snake arms, very important to remember that your elbow is the one that's gonna lead the move. So what do I mean by that? We begin by standing straight, right? Then our elbow will initiate the move to start away, and then our elbow will drive the arm back in. So away and in, away and in, away and in. But this, by working just with the elbow, the move isn't complete, right? It's not only about the elbow, it's also the wrist and everything else. So this is when your exercises on working on the softness of your hands really come in handy, so that you can, as many dancers refer to, you can breathe through your hand. So what it means that you finish the move with your fingers, with your hand and fingers. So 1 and 2, right? So first we start with our elbow, then it comes to the wrist. As the elbow wants to go down, your hand finishes and then goes in here. And then as your elbow starts the next circle, the next move, your wrist and hand is always kind of delayed, right? And down, up and down, up and down. The same thing is done on the other hand, the other arm. So again, remember, your elbow will be the one that's leading the move. You start with your elbow out, then you come to your wrist, and then as you bend your elbow to come down, that's when the wrist finishes the move. And down. Again, up and down, up and down. Very nice. Then you can do both at the same time. Up and down, up and down, and up and down. Or this is where the snake arms come in. You do it one and then the other one. So one, and as your one arm goes down, that's when your other arm comes up. 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Always remember that your shoulders remain at the same level, even though it's very tempting to start the move from the shoulder and go all the way. And maybe you will eventually add a little circle at your shoulder to make the move more defined and prettier. But right now we're talking about the simple, basic beginning arms, so that once you have this down, you can start layering it with other moves. So again, remember, it goes up and down, up and down. Couple good exercises for your hands, for using your fingers while dancing, and actually practicing this all little details to make your arms and your dance more defined and more pretty. Because it is very important to have your wrists and your fingers moving all the time and really have them, you know, warmed up and working. The exercise goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you can smooth it out into this beautiful continuous move. 1 and 2 and 3. I find this exercise very useful to when you really want to soften your fingers and get this finished look with your hands. Another very good exercise, I use it a lot, especially with in-person classes. My students know that. I take my middle finger, I stretch out my arms to the side, and then I try to touch my arm, like kind of caress it with my middle finger, and I go all the way across to the other hand or arm until I can't really touch anymore. So I pretend that I want to touch, and then I relax. This will actually stretch, right, your muscles here to give you this nice bend. So once again, you touch with the middle finger, you run the middle finger through your arm and chest, and then pull, 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 and release. Again, middle finger, pull, 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 and release. That is another exercise that you can use to really get this soft finish in your hands and in your wrists and in your arms. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please follow SH.E.B.A and its wonderful and talented teachers on the SH.E.B.A YouTube channel. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and also follow us on social media on Facebook or Instagram, and you can find the links right in the description of this video. And keep on dancing.
Did you know that subscribing to a YouTube channel increases your happiness? Try it! Start with this one. You'll get loads of belly dance tutorials that will definitely make you happy.